Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And for this video guys, we're going to be drawing another starter. This time we're going to be drawing Primarina. So as you guys can see on screen, this is how she ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw her, then let's get started. I'm also going to put up a reference right now on screen, that way it's easier for you guys to draw. And at the same time, you guys will get all your details. Just remember guys that we're going to start off by doing a sketch, and then from there on you guys are gonna do your final drawing, so remember not to press too hard on your paper. Alright, so first of all we're gonna start by doing this triangle shape, which is basically gonna be the bottom half of her face. There we go. Now that we have that, we're gonna do this other shape, which is gonna be the top half. Remember to leave space on the left side or at the tip of the triangle shape for her nose. There we go. Alright, so now that we have that, we're gonna start by doing her body. So this is gonna be her neck. It goes to around there. And then we're just gonna do this top line for now. So now for her body, her curves around there, and we're gonna do a reference line going the side of her face, just to let us know how far to do this shape right here. And if you guys notice, it doesn't go further than that, and it should be almost the same thickness as her head. Alright, so now for the other side of her neck, it starts getting slowly a little bit thicker as it goes down, and then it's just gonna meet up with this at the bottom. It kind of looks like a gooseneck. There we go. It straight up looks like a bird right now, guys. Alright, so now for the rest of her body, we're gonna continue this shape at the bottom, and then around here, gotta say about that far away, we're gonna curve it down. And remember guys, this is just a sketch, so if something doesn't look right or doesn't turn out right on your drawing, then you guys can make any changes. It doesn't have to be like my drawing, and it doesn't have to be like the reference. Alright guys, so now that we have that, we're gonna do the thickness of the tail. So I start at the bottom, and then I'm just gonna follow through and curve it and connect it to the top. There we go. So now we're just gonna close off this shape right there. And if you guys notice on the reference, it gets a lot thinner than the way I have it, but it doesn't really matter guys. Alright, so now around here we're gonna do, just pay attention to the distance from that line and the body, and then I do another reference line going on the side of her neck, just to know how far to do this shape. And right here we're gonna do a heart, but the bottom part of the heart is gonna be the bigger part. This one's gonna be a little bit longer and thinner, and then the other side is gonna be a little bit bigger. There we go. Like I was saying, just pay close attention to the distance between the heart and her body, like the gap, and just try to do this as close as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect like I said before, but hopefully now you guys can see what we're doing, like what areas we're doing. Alright, so now that we have that guys, we're gonna start by doing her waist area, which is kind of like her tutu, or I don't know how to call it guys. It's just like this ring that she has around her waist. And once again, it doesn't have to be exactly on the same areas that we're doing it. As long as it looks good, then go ahead and do it. There we go. And just try to make them smooth, you know, don't make them too rough. Alright, so now that we have that around here, a little bit higher than her body, we're gonna do this line, which is gonna be one of her hands, and her hands is gonna be around here, so we could just do a line around there, just so we can know where we're going. And now for the other side of her hand, and it all depends on yours guys. It depends where you guys did that heart. So just because I did mine the bottom line right there of her hand right there doesn't mean that you guys should do the same. Just try to do your hand wherever it looks good. You know, it doesn't have to be touching the heart. It all depends where you guys did the heart. So as long as you guys get the shape of her hand and her arm right, then it doesn't really matter where it is or where it touches. So now that we have that, we're just gonna do her fingers, her flippers. And right here I'm noticing that her hand or her arm is really thick. Maybe if you guys can make it a little bit thinner on the top, it'll make it a little bit better, but looking at it now, it's a little bit too thick. Alright, so now for the other side of her hand, maybe you guys are not going to be able to see this too well on the video, but just try to make them or start them off on the same area as the other hand or the other arm, the shoulder. And then this is her flipper right here. And this one looks a little bit bigger just because it is sideways, so it looks a little bit bigger. Another thing that maybe I should have changed was the size of the first flipper that she has. It looks a little bit too small compared to the reference, but like I said before, it doesn't really matter how big it is. Unless it looks okay, then we can make it any size. So right here, just erase some of those reference lines that go over the arm. We could erase those guys, so we don't need them, and it's better that way. It's not that confusing. There we go. Alright, so now we're gonna do the little ring that she has around her tail. And right here I'm just trying to make it the same size, or like close enough to the reference where it's almost touching her body, but it's not exactly touching it. Just try to get the shape. In other words, guys, like I said before, it all depends where you guys did your tail on the heart. And just because on the reference and on mine, it's really close to the body, if it works for your drawing, then go ahead. But if it doesn't, then it's all right. You know, as long as you guys get the shape right, then you guys can do it any other way. All right, so now for her little thing that she has in her forehead. Looks like a rooster now. I do make a change on this a little bit later once I do my final drawing. Like the right side where it starts, I make it a little bit more to the right, but I'll tell you guys that once I finish. Alright, so now right here I'm just doing like her hair, the shape of the first of her bun. And probably I curved mine a little bit way more than the reference has it. But like I said, it's not perfect. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it looks okay, then we could have it anyway. Alright, so now we could just do a circle for her nose. That way it doesn't look too weird. Alright, so now we're going to use that same line from the triangle to do her eye. There we go. And her eye is almost like a sideways egg shape, like a really pointy egg sideways. And then we're gonna do the star that's right next to her eyes. And stars are a little bit tricky, guys, just because all 5 points are basically the same, and it's just one of those shapes that it's a little bit hard to do. So just try your best to do it here your own way, as long as you guys get it on the right spot, you know, where it's supposed to be, the size and everything. Then go ahead. And then I just added these 2 little circles for her eyes, just to make it look a little bit better. And right here my eye is a little bit big. I do make it a little bit smaller once I finish my final drawing, but that's something I changed later on. Alright guys, so now around here on her waist area, basically where it touches the bottom, we're gonna do this shape, and we're gonna do her collar. So her collar starts around here and it curves up and it gets really close to the face. And this right here is the top part. And then it curves around here. On this side of the same thing, just try to make it on the same level as the other side. And then it curves around here and it just basically connects to the bottom right here. Now the same thing for this one. It has a small curve in the middle, and then it just gets wider and connects to the top. There we go. Now that we have that, we could erase those lines on the collar, from the arms, the shoulders basically. I don't know if I do that right now, but you guys could do that. That way it's not that confusing. Since we're done with that part, we could just remove it. But I guess right here we're gonna start by adding her pearls on top of her head, and we're gonna start out by doing the first one, which is basically in the middle, and then it has like another one. It's basically a circle, guys, on the side touching the star, and then you can see a little bit from the other one on the other side in the back, and then we could add her smile. We'll work on her face a little bit later. Right here I just erased that line on the neck from the triangle shape just to make it look a little bit better, guys, because it looks a little bit rough right now, but we could always work on that once we're basically done with most of our shape. Alright, so right here I didn't have the perfect way to do this part. I basically do that curved line just to help me place these triangle shapes that she has. I probably could have done a better job doing them, but I thought it was just one of those small details that wasn't like that important, I guess. So right here I'm just looking at the reference and seeing where they're placed, and they basically like go around her waist and just try to make it follow that shape of her body, you know, since it's round. We can see another one in the back right there. There we go. Might have done the bottom of her a little bit too thick. It's alright though, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright, so now for the like dark spot right here on the bottom of her like little flap. I don't know what to call that, guys, I'm sorry. Alright, so now that we have that, we could go back and do the hair. So around here we're just gonna do a circle. We're gonna do 2 circles the same size. Just try to do these the best as you can. And then we can see a little bit from the top, and then the other one we can see a little bit also, and just try to curve it around her hair, make it work. If you guys have to add another pearl, then go ahead, you know, as long as it looks cool, and just try to make them the same size as the ones she has on top of her head. Alright, so now that we have that right here, I'm just looking at the shape of her hair. So notice right here it curves down, and then one of it is sticking out. Once again, it doesn't have to be exactly like the reference. As long as it looks okay in your drawing, we could have it anyway. And then right here there's like a curve, and it just connects to the top. If you guys notice the top on that one, I made a straight line going across, like a flat line. I did it just so we could add the pearls on this side. So once again, it has 2 pearls the same size, and just once again try to make them the same size as the ones on the other side, as I pointed out right there. Alright, so now that we have that, we can just look at the shape of this bottom line of her other side of her hair. Now for this side, basically curves up. I think I did it a little bit too high. It's alright, like I said, it doesn't really matter. So then it has one hair sticking out, another one on this side, and then it just curves down, and it gets really close to the other line at the bottom around here, and then it just curves up for this one, and it basically should connect to the bottom. So as long as you guys get like a rough shape of this of her hair like this, then it's alright. Might take you guys a couple tries. I could have done a better job, but you know what, it doesn't have to be perfect, so I just left it like that. That's just something that didn't really bother me, you know. It's a drawing, guys. And we're pretty much done, guys, with Primarina. We just need to erase some of these reference lines. For example, on her nose, the line going across that we did earlier of the triangle shape. These lines from her shoulder that go over her collar. Some of these reference lines that we used. The lines right there on her skirt. And we're pretty much done, guys. It's pretty close to the reference, to be honest. Right here I just start working on her shape. I curve a little bit just because it was a little bit too sharp. It was a little bit too thin, so I just fixed the bottom of her mouth a little bit, curve it a little bit more, just to make it look a little bit better. The same thing with the top of her face. I just work on it and curve the line where it meets the nose, just because it's not like a sharp corner. It basically just bends a little bit as it goes up. and right there I just color in part of her eye and just leave those small lines just so you guys can see a little bit more better. And I just work on her head, and in other words just make it a little bit more better, guys. Before it was a little bit too rough. Now it just looks a little bit better. So this is the thing that I tell you guys that I changed later on. The bottom part I just curve a little bit more to the bottom, but it's not a big change that I do. So right here I think I make her arms a little bit thinner since they were a little bit too thick, too wide, and we're pretty much done. Another thing that you guys might want to change is the shape of her tail. Like on the left side, after those pink spikes, right on mine it's completely like curved, and on the reference it dips in a little bit earlier and then it starts curving for the rest of her tail, but I just made mine a basic shape. So we're pretty much done, guys, with our sketch. From here on you guys could do your final sketch, you know, work on anything that you guys want to change. For example, here, like I said before, I changed her eye, and I did her pearls, all of them like close enough to the same shape, and then I just outlined my sketch with my marker, as you guys see me here, and then I just used my eraser just to erase it, add some small details, and then I just used my my Copic markers to color her. I didn't have the right colors for her hair, but I used the closest ones that I did have. There we go. And then I just used a really light gray for her body on the white areas. And I just try to if you guys are coloring her, try to use more than one color for different areas. Do like her regular color and then her shadow, and if you guys want to go a little bit more into detail, you guys could add like a lighter color for a highlight, you know, just the same color, almost the same tone, but just a little bit lighter, and it just gives it a better look overall, you know. And basically that's it, guys. So after I ended up coloring her, I used a darker, not a darker, but like a thicker pen, a bigger pen, to do her like complete outline, just to make it stand out a little bit. And I just did it on the outside. I didn't go inside of the lines, you know, I left them like you saw earlier, but just doing the thicker outline on the outside just makes it stand out a little bit more. And overall I think it came out pretty good. I think maybe if we didn't even outlining, just left it in pencil, it would also look good, just like the reference, you know, there's no like, it doesn't have a strong outline, so it really doesn't stand out that much as a drawing. But overall I think it came out pretty good too. The hair, I like the hair, I like the color of the hair, the way that I made it. I was trying to blend both colors, and I think I did a good job on that. It looks pretty good, it's nice and smooth. It could be a little bit more smooth, but I like the way I have it. That's it, guys. I think overall it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. This was highly requested by a lot of you guys, so hopefully I was able to help you guys. Another thing that I did change, like I said before, guys, was the eye. It's almost like a teardrop shape sideways, and I did it a little bit smaller. And then I also added these like triangle shapes that she has, like her eyelashes, I guess, on the back of her eye. On the reference, it's really hard to see, I mean. And on the sketch I didn't do that just because it's really small lines, you know, and just because I did my drawing really small, guys. Usually I do my drawing small, so it's really hard to add some of those details. And if I would have done that on the sketch, it wouldn't have looked too good, you know. It would have just been like these big lines, and you really couldn't be weren't gonna be able to tell what that was. So it was gonna be a little bit confusing, and I'd rather show you guys later on and tell you guys how it looks, or just show you so you guys could do that on your own. And basically that's it, guys. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. If you guys ended up getting this far, let me know in the comment section. Please let me know if you guys drew Primarina. I'd love to know when you guys let me know if you drew her, you know. I really like knowing how many people actually attempt to draw her, you know. If you have any trouble, you guys could always just work on your sketch, you know. Try to make it a little bit better. If you have a little bit of trouble, try to go back and then just on the video, and then just stop the video, pause the video, and try to do it. Just work on the shapes a little bit more, you know, and then just work on the details, and I think overall is gonna turn out pretty good. So hopefully I was able to help, guys. Let me know in the comment section how you guys did. If you guys want to share your drawings like the ones you saw at the beginning of this one, send them to me on my email or on Twitter. The links will be in the description where you guys can send them in, and I'll be happy to feature them on my upcoming video. So I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Team Rocket Draws